Good morning and welcome to my first ever Lightwave tutorial. Right, a chap on the forum has been having problems with a basic simple model that he was just having difficulty working out the best way of building it. So I thought I'd do a demonstration of how I would do it, which of course is only one way amongst thousands. I suspect every single Lightwave user would have their own way of building this, but this is the approach I choose. Okay, as you can see, we don't have a drawing here that's in scale, because obviously it's all got lens distortion and things like that, so there's no point in us actually using it as a background image to work from. So what I'll actually do is just make a conceptual version of this that shows the attributes and shows the modelling processes. Okay, we'll get rid of that. Right, we've got Lightwave here, so where do we start? Well, as always, most of the time we start with a box. So we'll click a box there and drag out a suitable sized box shape to start off with for our building. Okay, this is really straightforward. One of the things we want to do to make our life easier, as you will see later on, is actually create some extra points. So what I actually want to do is actually create some points in here so I can actually drag them around and move them around a bit more easily. So one of the ways we can do that, we can actually add segments here. So if we click on that, you can see we've done that. Or if you're in the window, you can actually use the left and right arrow keys on your keyboard to add and remove segments. Okay, we've got just the one, which is what we wanted. So we'll select that, and we want that. That's fine, perfect. Right, next thing we need to do to make sure it's easier for when we get a bit further down the stage, actually center it. So I'm going to hit the F2 key to center it onto the 0 origin, which will make more sense later on. Okay, what I'll be doing is building half of it and actually then mirroring it over so everything matches perfectly, which is why we needed to make sure it was dead on the center. So next thing we need to do is go to polygon mode, and we'll select all of those and delete them. They're gone. Oop, no one there. That's gone as well. Okay, so we've got there basic half a box. Right. Now what we need to do is get the slope on the roof. So we go to point mode and select that, and now we need to move it. So that's obviously the normal move command is here, or you can actually hit the T key on the keyboard. I'm going to use the T key because I'm very familiar with it, so I hit that to go to moving. Right, one more thing we want to do, we could just move it around and that ends up all messy, but we don't want to do that, so we'll edit it. I'll do that, get it back to where it was. We've still got that point selected, we're still in the move tool, but we can actually control make it constrained so it only moves in one axis. So to do that, you press and hold the control key, and then you can drag it up to where you want it, and then that only moves it in the one axis. Okay, so that's done. Finished. Bosh, sorted. Right, Ed's not really looking much like a dormer at the minute, but it's getting there, so we'll proceed a bit onwards. The next stage is the roof. So what we need to do with that is actually extend it forwards, extend it upwards, and extend it outwards. Simple to do with that is actually use a tool which basically increases the size and dimensions of everything. It actually builds on what you've already got. So what we can do is if we select that polygon there, and look at that, polygon mode, select that polygon there. This is the one we want to use to start creating the roof. So first thing again, we need to go multiply tools, and the tool we're going to be using here is Extender Plus, which maps to the E key on the keyboard. So what we need to do is press that, then we go back to our move tool. Again, press Ctrl to constrain it into one direction, and then we drag that out. And what this does, it actually adds extra geometry to link up from the old part where we extended the model from to where it is now, and it actually creates extra geometry that we can then use to extend the roof further. So that's what we want. Anyway, happy with that. Return to key to finish. Drop that selection because we finished with that, and we've got our roof again. Okay, so now we need to get the front overhang. So we'll click on that polygon there, which is the front, and we need to again move that. So again, we press E key for Extender Plus, T key and Control, and we drag that out to get a suitable overhang. Return. Okay, and again the back polygon, we've got 2 there, we don't want 2, we only want that one. And again, E key for extender plus, T key to move, control, press down and drag that out. Let's take that quite a bit out because we're going to have the slope of the roof to cope with later on. Okay, so there we've got return key and deselect, and there we've got the basic roof. Right, okay, so now we've got the situation where we need to get the overhang, the drip rail, gutter, whatever we're going to call it, sill, on this side. Right, okay, now the problem with this, we can't do the same as we did before, because what happens is the using our control key moves it there and moves it there. We could do it freehand, but then we might end up with wrong angles and things like that. So let's just, I've got that, so we could just do extender plus T to move and then just drag it out and try and line it up by eye, which for a lot of things might work perfectly, but there's actually a new tool, well, a newish tool in Lightwave that actually helps us sort this out properly. So we'll do that, edit, undo to get rid of that. And what we need to do is go to the modify tool, and under more we've got translate plus. Right, that initially comes up with an axis, this orange bar, which is an axis, which is no use to us because what we want is the axis of there, so when we move it. So what we can do is go to default, go to segment, and then that gives us all the points that we can actually use for making an alignment to. So then we right click on that one and on that one, and that then gives us an axis which we can then use to move the object along. So then again, E key for extender plus, and as you can see, move your mouse, it drags it backwards and forwards along that axis. So we'll set it to there, that looks about right, and return key, deselect, and there we go. Right, zoom out here, and you can see we've got a pretty good model so far. It's certainly getting there, it's doing the job, and we've got the basics there, all the points line up, nice clean geometry, no gaps, no spaces, no light going to be seeping through anything or anything like that. So what do we do next? What we need to do now is actually mirror the object, but we've got a few stray polygons, so we need to do a teeny bit of cleaning up first. These polygons here are going to end up inside the model, which is probably not going to affect it that much, but it's best technique to actually get rid of anything you don't want to see, because it can cause real problems when you get more advanced, you get into subdivision modelling and things like that. So what we will do, again, go to polygon mode, select those and hit delete. So now we have a perfectly fine model with polygons where we want them and no polygons where we don't want them. Right, and now we need to do the multiplying, the magic stuff. So go to multiply, and we want to mirror in the X. And there we have, bosh. Very basic part of our dormer. So that's all sorted. Right, so now we need to sort out the bits for the roofs and the floor. Because obviously if you see the model, obviously we've got a slope there, and we've got a slope there. Get rid of that. Now, without obviously scale drawings or anything like that, the easiest way to do this, we'll just do it sort of freehand and with a Boolean subtract. So what we need to do is go into an extra layer, we'll leave that in the background just so we can see what we're doing. And again, create box. So we get a nice big box there. Extends way beyond where we want it. We don't need that division anymore, so we can get rid of that. Right, that should be big enough for our purposes, so hit return. And there we go, we've got our basic simple box. Right, now to move that around, if you have, we need to rotate it. So we can hit the Y key. If we actually knew what angle it was, we could then input it in here and apply it. Like that. And to be honest, that looks about right for a first cut, so certainly for the bottom. So we'll use that. So okay, we've got the basics, and obviously that will use this. Now going to use this as a cutting object to actually chop away polygons in this area that we don't want. Okay, so what we will do, we'll go back to this one, leave this in the foreground, and put our object we're going to use to cut in the background. Right. actually we need to move it first to get it into the right place. So T key to move, and we'll just drag that up somewhere where it looks like it's about the right place. When you're doing booleans, obviously it's always nice to try and make sure you don't have something like that where you've got a line going right through a corner or a point or whatever. Just move it one way or the other just to make it slightly fit, and if need be you can always tweak things later with point drag just to get things lined up perfectly. But that's about the right angle, and that's about the right place to cut off what we need to throw on that one. So get rid of the move key and go to the background, and what we need to do now is go to construct, boolean, subtract. Okay, bosh, and as you see, there it is. It's cut that down and made that perfect, so we've now got the perfect slope. Right, so now we need to do the slope of the roof. So again, we'll get back to the thing, put that in the background, zoom out a bit, T to move. Right, this is obviously not going to work quite like that, so we could actually go back and extend those bits if we needed that particular angle, but as we're just making a quick thing, I will just rotate this. T, move it again just to get it roughly in the right place and get the rough idea of what we're doing. Okay, so now again, return to finish the move key, go back to the background and boolean, subtract. Okay, so now we've got the picture of the roof. Obviously we've got a few stray polygons there that we can get rid of in a second, but that's the basic idea. So go back to this one, we don't need that. Select those polygons and delete. And there we have the basic model of a dormer. Okay, hope that makes sense, and thank you for watching.